To get to the LCS is another way to get into the World's Final tournament. That'll be really good for us to actually be a shot in the World Final.
It gives us an opportunity to stay together as a team and keep improving.
And even then, we can get a lot of, what do they call them, sponsors? You can get a lot of sponsors that way too.
I would say right now we want this more than anything. Definitely, 100%.
What do you call them? Sponsors?
Yes. Sponsors.
Those are good.
100%. All right, guys, welcome back to the 2013 North American LCS Summer Promotion Tournament. And it's time for our final match of the day. It's DoubleBuff versus Azure Cats. Now, while DoubleBuff is stuffed with some new names in the LCS scene, Azure's roster has some recognizable summoners, including CLG's former mid laner, Big Fat LP.
He is one of the original founding members of CLG. He subbed for them in the mid lane week 5 of the spring split and played well, helping them go 1-1. But he is not the only one with experience on this team. We've also got Cruiser the Bruiser and Demon Lull, who played with Complexity's Loudamortis and Prolly on Team Legion in Season 2.
And Azure Cats is one of the more stacked teams in the challenge round. In fact, Counterlogic Gaming's Hotshot GG said that Azure Cats was better than the Vulcan team that took out CLG.
Scrimming against Azure Cats, which is Gigi's team, my former teammate, and they play really well. And honestly, they're even better than Vulcan, in my opinion.
Well, it's obvious that Hotshot believes it, but is Azure Cats really the favorite to beat DoubleBuff?
Well, Gigi is really confident. Excuse me, Big Fat LP, what his name is now. He's very confident because of their practice schedule. They have an intense practice schedule, one of the most intense for any of these challenger teams. They're already playing against current LCS teams. But they have been losing a lot of these scrims that they take so much pride in, so some people are doubting them. Plus, DoubleBuff have done their best to keep quiet and sort of keep all their strats hidden from the Azure Cats, so we'll have to see if they've been able to find anything.
All right, well, guys, it's time to take a look at tonight's starting lineups. In the blue font, it will be DoubleBuff. Innox in the top lane, Scuba Chris in the jungle, Nubby PoohBear in mid, Flappy Bearfish, the AD carry, and Unstoppable on support.
And in the scarlet letters, it's Azure Cats. Cruiser the Bruiser up top, X-Dragon or X-Jungle. Big Fat LP is going to be the middle, and Demon Lull on AD carry, while Obituarist is the support.
All right, guys, well, we've heard from Kobe, we've heard from Hotshot, but I want to hear from you guys before we get a champ select. Let's take a look at who you guys think is going to win the best of 3. According to LOLesports.com, 75% of you agree with Hotshot and think that Azure Cats are going to advance to Sunday's matchup with CLG.
Looks like Hotshot has done a good job hyping them up, getting the train rolling here. I talked to some of the guys there. Nubby PoohBear does not think it's going to go down like that, though. He's pretty confident as well.
Well, they've got a really interesting lineup because, so we've had roster changes overall and role swaps overall in the LCS. We're no strangers to seeing that. For DoubleBuff, their support, Unstoppable, he's got 2 interesting stories. So first of all, their original starting support, Ions, was too young to play in LCS, so they had to drop him. Yeah. Unstoppable was a jungler for the last, 2 years for a lot of teams, and he's only been playing support for about a month.
A good jungler. He's recently switched over to support, and I've had the privilege of playing with him in solo queue as support. We happen to lose all our games, but that's probably a fluke. So I think he's made the switch pretty well.
Okay, I do know that from talking to Nubby PoohBear, he says that Unstoppable as a jungler times everything, and so they know when every buff, every summoner comes up from cooldown. So he says they basically have 2 junglers.
Yeah, hence their name, the DoubleBuff. I mean, they definitely keep track of not only their own, but the enemies as well. They've got 2 minds working pretty much in sync there. 2 jungle peeps.
And I actually want to talk about the mid lane as well. You know, we talked about the junglers a bit, but to me, Nubby PoohBear is probably the all-star of the DoubleBuff team. I mean, it's pretty easy to say Big Fat LP is like the name on Azure Cats, you know, the Counterlogic Gaming player, but Nubby PoohBear as well is a phenomenally skilled mid player. Was back on Orbit when it was like him and Nian Tanso, back at MLG Anaheim. To me, he's probably their most skilled player, and that'll actually be a fun matchup 1v1.
Yeah, the thing about Nubby PoohBear is his best 2 champions, TF and Zyra, are pretty well known. So unless they do have, you know, some stuff that's under the carpet there, then we might see Azure Cats target banning him.
That's definitely a possibility. We've seen that so much throughout the tournament as well, where I mean, TF especially was dropped out when the Salad Bar took their first victory against Velocity. They're like, yeah, we tried to bait out the TF pick, and then we got smashed by it, so we started banning TF.
Yeah, they got pretty much destroyed with it. That was a very, very good use of TF, which is fun for North America because he's had 100% pick ban rate everywhere else in the world, but nobody's really been afraid of North American mid TFs for a long time, and so it's good to have a few good plays on there. Maybe people will start respecting that over here as well.
And you got to realize, I mean, Big Fat LP is like one of the OG Twisted Fates as well.
Oh yeah.
Like back in 2009 normal queue, dude installed like a lot of Twisted Fate.
He would play Twisted Fate back when Twisted Fate could go anywhere on the map, and his gold card was an AoE stun that he could throw out. So that was quite a long time ago. He's definitely one of the longest playing Twisted Fate players.
So let's actually talk about Big Fat a little bit because he, back in the old CLG days, if I remember his post properly, he would say like it was on him to carry the team, and he had to just like carry every game. From recent memory, from recent picks from him, he tends to play more utility-based champions now, like Orianna in TF. What's your read on that?
Yeah, he has actually shied away from the TF, which is surprising. A lot of teams still will ban that against them, but it isn't even their go-to picks anymore. So he definitely has branched out a lot, and a lot of it is also due to their manager that they have. Their new manager actually did a lot of the research on Team DoubleBuff. I interviewed Gigi a couple days before, and he was like, I don't know anything about these teams. I don't Team DoubleBuff. We're probably just going to play normal, and we'll crush them because we've had this amazing scrim schedule. But then I went up there today, and the manager's got this printed out booklet with Excel spreadsheets inside on data that he's mined on the other teams. So hopefully he's doing a good job filling in the holes for the rest of the team and bringing them up to date.
Well, that's going to be important. Of course, we've seen really it's fun watching how the bans change really like throughout a best of 3. Right? In LCS, you got best of 1s, and they come prepared, and they've got one shot at it. And you come here in best of 3s, best of 5s, and they come with their prepared bans, and then you watch them change as the games go on. Which I think is interesting, right? Like, we're going to bait the TF, never mind, we're just going to ban it, right? Like, seeing those evolve is really interesting.
Yeah, well, if you get beat really badly by something, you're going to want to ban it out.
Yeah.
I know from experience that's exactly how it goes. It's pretty much the same thing you'll see in solo queue, too, because if your first pick is randomly banning something you would not consider dangerous, they're like, oh, my God, you have to ban Fizz right now because it's obviously last game they just got destroyed by a Fizz, and they don't want it to happen again. So you definitely want to take out just the last thing that beat you really badly.
For sure. That'll be fun to watch throughout the best of 3. So let's actually talk about one of the by the way, we have 7 of the 10 players in the lobby right here, so we're almost ready to go. But let's bring out another topic, the AD carries. So Demon Lol, right, you mentioned him before, right? He's a name that's been around. He's a very scary AD carry player.
Yes.
And against him is Flappy Bearfish, who pretty much no one's heard of, but a lot of people actually give a pretty good recommendation.
Yeah, good recommendations. He doesn't sound scary. Flappy Bearfish definitely gives me the idea that he's a happy-go-lucky guy, and he doesn't seem like too intense. Meanwhile, Demon Lol is one of the most intense people that you will ever meet. He's
smiling now.
Yeah, he's a very serious guy. I remember back when they were trying to qualify during the first week I was down here for the qualifiers for LCS, everyone was just raving about Demon Lol, and he was just destroying bottom lane after bottom lane, and he would not let up. So he has a good reputation around here.
I remember actually one of his most fabled teams was back when he was with Bloodwater as well.
Yeah.
And that was actually in the qualifiers themselves, I believe. And Bloodwater went and, like, we talked about Elimination, how like 2 of his 80 carries have joined the LCS. And then we have Demon Lol, who's got a support who's joined the LCS. Like, we keep splitting up these partnerships, and then one of them goes in, and the other one's like, well, I want to qualify still.
They're still good, too, both parts of that bottom lane. So we'll have to see if this is going to be the key for him. But remember, whoever wins this, you're not in yet. You can't start cheering. You're not going to be able to celebrate. You can celebrate. You can celebrate a little bit because you've been one step, but you're still going to have to go through CLG. And CLG have been just practicing like crazy. A lot of people speculating that they are actually going to switch up some crazy new strategies, move roles around, and all kinds of conspiracy theories going on for the CLG fans. But we'll have to wait one more day to see that matchup.
That's going to be a fun one. Dude, I always wanted to see Aphromoo, Draven, and then Doublelift on Blitzcrank for like just a lane swap.
Just a little role swapping like Vulcan does. And that wouldn't be too big of a role swap either. I mean, you could even just switch the 2 bottom lanes here. Doublelift, put him on his Blitzcrank support and then just go to town there.
Well, of course, we're going to get ourselves into the game very soon. They were fixing an audio issue, but they got that sorted out, so we're into champions. Like DoubleBuff is in blue, and they first ban Rammus.
That's targeted at their jungler. I'm 100% sure right here. He is one of the only really large fans of Rammus, and they immediately take that one off the board. So that's some research that has been done there by DoubleBuff at least. Both teams actually banning really quickly here, so it looks like they have taken the research to heart.
Yeah, well, there's that Zyra TF you pointed out, definite immediate target bans. And the funny thing is, right, that is one of those mid-Zyra players that you brought up. It was Nubby PoohBear's pick, but it's fun to see those champions like, no, this is specifically the other role here. So they rushed down the Shen. They've got that here for DoubleBuff, and now it's Azure Cat's turn to make some choices. Yeah,
that is not a support Zyra ban, by the way. That's definitely Nubby PoohBear because he is brutal on his Zyra. I've also been on the receiving end of that one, and it's not pretty. Zed is also a really contested pick between these two teams. He's just extremely strong right now in the right hands. He has so many options. He's great at assassinating, and he's also great at that split push because whoever goes to stop him is going to have to worry about their own life.
Well, so the next two picks have been grabbed. It's going to be Zach and Thresh. And I got to say, on DoubleBuff's side, with Unstoppable being such a new support player, his pool is going to be a little bit shallower.
Yeah, Thresh, Sona, and Lulu are really the top tier of supports right now that people are rushing to. So those will have been the first ones that people told him to go learn because those are going to be the most contested. And even though this is the patch here where we moved a lot of the damage, the passive auto attack damage from Thresh's Q over to the Flay instead, people are still using him a lot because you can mix it up there and get the low cooldown hook, or you get a lot more damage with your Flay, and still extremely viable pick, great in lane, and great late game too, as it's always beneficial to have the possibility of picking someone off.
All right, so there you go. Thresh, of course, a great choice. And Azure Cats have grabbed up their next two. It's Hecarim in the jungle and a support Sona.
The support Sona, that's the second one I listed off there in the top three. Looks like Lulu got left out. No Yordle for them. Tristana's going to have to hold down the fort for those guys. And that is his favorite AD carry as well, actually. No. This was Demon Will stealing away Tristana. I believe, it was the DoubleBuff. Their favorite AD carry is Tristana. That's actually really popular nowadays because of that late game, almost like huge just win button that you can smash when you get enough items there. And she just has so many great escapes too that it's a really potent AD carry.
All right, so we've had the last few picks come through here, fast and furious. These guys knowing what they wanted at the end. You've got Malphite top lane picking for Azure Cats. You've got a Syndra mid here for DoubleBuff. Kobe, what's up with that?
Well, what's up with that, freak, is that there is a tremendous amount of crowd control on this Azure Cats team. That was just going to pop out at people because they've got Malphite initiates, amazing. They have also got Hecarim late game initiates. Those are amazing. And then they have the Sona for if anyone does get close quarters, fast to 2, and 2 huge sources of damage in Zed and Tristana. So this is a very, very compact Azure Cats team. Meanwhile, a few interesting picks here on DoubleBuff. I have to point out the Syndra that is not picked fairly often. We see, Link sometimes will use her to great advantage, and it opens up those opportunities like stealing a blue buff level 1 over the wall, just throwing minions around willy-nilly.
That is going to be a lot of fun. So, guys, we're getting ready to get into the game. This is our last best of 3 of the day, and the winner moves on to face Counter Logic Gaming on Sunday for the 4th and final LCS spot. But DoubleBuff versus Azure Cats is hitting the load screen. DoubleBuff in blue, Azure Cats in red. It's the best of 3 for moving forward. LCS career is on the line. Pretty big deal. I'm hyping it up a little bit because it's a big deal.
It's a pretty big deal. Meanwhile, DoubleBuff, they're going to be going up against this CC-heavy team with a Twitch, who you always want to protect that Twitch, because we've seen before that he just gets beastly late game, and they have a couple interesting tools. They don't have, the Kale ultimate that we saw before, but they have Stand United, so Shen's going to be able to absorb some damage for him. And then they also have that all-important Lantern, the Dark Passage from Thresh, get him out of any situation as long as he's able to click on it.
Yeah.
We also saw a very effective counterplay to that Dark Passage where you just get a giant, Nasus or Renekton to stand on top of it and no longer can click that Lantern.
So what are the odds that we see a Lantern dodge on Unstoppable Force or Onslaught of Shadows?
That would have to be a pre-prepped Lantern, because Unstoppable Force, the time that it takes to travel is actually the same time as Lantern takes to travel, and there wouldn't be that split-second amount of time to be able to click it. But that would be one for the YouTube highlights that we could actually probably put up against Mad Life's YouTube list that he's had.
All right, well, we'll see if he can click the Lantern or if he can throw it out in time. But certainly, we're going to be started up into this game. All of Azure Cats are on, well, I say all as Cruiser goes back to base. They were on the bottom half of the map, but a lot of early defensive wards are here really for both teams.
We've seen this a couple times. You know, ward every single part of the river here, and then just have a few human wards in the last entrance. They actually pulled out a regular old one right there. So they've got all 4 entrances covered here, and there's going to be no invade.
No invade indeed, so instead they're going to split up the experience and gold a little bit. The standard double golems here for the double lane from DoubleBuff, and over the top side the Azure Cats will happily take away these as well, but they're going to go to Cruiser. And instead we've just got the Wolves going down from the dual lane there. So just a lot of sort of experience share overall, actually. Pretty much everything being shared in the Azure Cats jungle.
They're going to help out Scuba Chris with that blue buff as well. Cooldown reduction, extremely important here for Zach, because the quicker you can spam out your spells, the quicker you can heal up by walking on your own blobs.
That's really nice for them. Dragonair just sitting there on his Lissa buff. I gotta imagine he does use Smite for it. So again, another difference between these two junglers, as Scuba Chris is simply, he got a Smiteless pull, whereas Dragonair did not.
Yeah, that's going to put you a little bit quicker, but it enables your lanes to get there and get there in time for the all-important few minions that will make up the difference between level 1 and level 2 all-ins that we've seen so important in that best Riven NA tournament. It really came to light where people were putting so much emphasis on just getting a single minion down for that experience that will just tip you over the edge, get you to level 2.
And this could be an interesting setup right now. Nubby PoohBear putting an early ward down on the bottom half of his lane, looking for ganks there. Tell me about sort of the ward positions in the mid lane. So, you know, ward position in the mid lane, you know, how does that work? Like, why do you cover one? When would you cover both? Like, what does that watch really for you?
In the mid lane here?
Yeah.
Well, basically, you can hug one side and ward the other side, depending on which jungler you have. When you're going up against Flubber over here, then you're going to have to at least ward one side, because he can at rank 1 with that Elastic Slingshot get all the way to the mid lane there, and it's a very dangerous gank as we see him heading up top.
Okay, so top lane matchup is level 3 versus level 3. Flubber is actually right here. Scuba Chris goes for the knockup, but it's flashed away by Cruiser. So an early aggress there gets at least a flash burned. Cruiser's going to recall back to base. He's nice and happy. Nubby PoohBear has a lot of aggression. Big Fat LP really wants blood right here. Can he get in more damage? No, forcing the flash away from Nubby PoohBear. And that was actually a very, very good opening for Big Fat LP.
Yes, very intimidating play right there. The ninja just walking him up. They end up getting the flash, so that's going to be huge. Now he's going to have to play very defensively. We talked about the wards already on the sides. He still has one up on this right side, so you would usually want to hug that side of the map so that the gank is going to have to come a longer distance and you have more time to dodge it.
No, right now Scuba Chris is looking to go down the river for this bottom lane here for a gank that against pretty overextended champions.
And yeah, we had him coming all the way down here. He's going to get in behind Tristana and Sona.
He gets the flash pull on Obituarist. Is not good. He flashes to the left-hand side, which lets Demon Roll run away. But First Blood still does go down to Flappy Bearfish. He's going to like that one quite a bit.
Good attempt right there. Sona getting out of the way of that Elastic Slingshot, but does go down. It is going to be First Blood. And Flubber with this successful gank here. These wards, they do see the passage here of both junglers, but still able to get off that successful gank. And now Tristana going to have to rocket jump away as Hecarim comes in to back him up.
Here comes Dragonair. This could be bad for DoubleBuff. Fluffy Bearfish down pretty low on health. Pops the stealth, and he might just get it. He's getting knocked into the wall. He will get away from Dragonair. Flay comes off. They should go back for the damage, because here comes Scuba Chris, and Azure Cat says, not dealing with that one.
Yeah, not quite enough left here for Unstoppable to land another hook onto either Triss or Hecarim, and they'd end up leaving. Here comes Sona, though, going to return to normal. And now Scuba Chris, again, being seen out by a ward as he sets up for this mid gank. GG, not going to have any of it.
Happily gets away from that one. So level 5 versus level 5 in the mid lane. You're seeing 37 to 43, so a small lead here actually for Big Fat LP.
He's doing a really good job. I'm proud right here. The Zed making Nubby PoohBear work for it. They did a great job because they target banned the 2 strongest champions that Nubby PoohBear has to offer. Like I said, taking out that Twisted Fate and that Zyra. Research does wonders for you.
So congrats to the manager then, because apparently Big Fat LP wouldn't have gone for it if your story holds. So doing well, level 6 now. That's going to be an important level for him overall. Let's check out some of these other lanes. Let's go to the top lane and look at that one. Very, very early on, Cruiser was pushed out by Innox. He had to actually go heal because of the Scuba Chris gank. He burned the flash. And you're seeing basically a constant now plus 10, 45 to 35. Innox is winning a bit here.
Yeah, Innox has not had to go back. He went with that new start, really, that's become popular since the nerf to red elixirs, where you go with the rejuvenation feed and elixirs plus ward, and it's really paid off for him right here. Shen just happy to go into a farm fest. I mean, he's okay as long as you can wait until you get your stand united, and you're going to be good to go. Cruiser does have his unstoppable force and teleport ready though.
So I want to talk to you then about how that split push sort of pans out. Then you've got you know basically the 2 globals, right? You have the Stand United available, you've got the Summoner Teleport, certainly both can be able to show up into these fights. They actually both back off right now, so never mind, so it's not so much about that. But when team fights begin, right? When team fights begin and the top laners need to come down, they both have teleports. Because they can both CC each other's teleport, like, I'm taking a really long time to
I know what question you're going to end up with here,
go for it.
So we'll just take it. And then my answer is, that's why we have the new picture-in-picture cam.
All right.
Because you're right. This is going to be a battle up top lane for who can interrupt the other's global with either the taunt or the unstoppable force, and who ends up actually joining the 4 vs 4 fight.
That one will be fun. So we walk back to the mid lane and we can see both at level 7, but now a bigger lead still coming in here for Big Fat LP, 57 to 71. That's still growing. Oh, they're looking for a blue invade right here.
Yeah, here come Azure Cats actually invading the buffs of DoubleBuff here. They're going to get some timers after this one. Putting down the ward, so they're ready for the smite steals here. Shen is going to collapse, though, 2 on 3.
This could be rough. Here comes the Pony trying to run away from this one. A lot of damage off an Innox, though. Will Big Fat LP go for this one? Jumps forward with the close. Scuba Chris nearby, gets the double knockup, pops the ult as well, and here comes the ult from Big Fat LP. Does he have enough damage? Here comes Cruiser as well. So much pin coming across, but can they find enough? The Shen will keep Scuba Chris alive for now. Big Fat LP is still taking damage. Will they get it? Nubby PoohBear picks up 1, and the flashes come out. Innox and Chris are still alive. In the bottom lane, Demon Lil picks up 1 onto Flappy Bearfish, but otherwise, it's just a 1 for nothing, and DoubleBuff have kept their buff alive.
Yep, so that was the 3v2 down there, and we get Tristana taking out Unstoppable. That was Cruiser trying to walk down to the blue buff to join that fight, but not being close enough, so he ended up using his teleport just to get there quicker.
All right, so 2-4-2 right now on the screen right here. You can see only 200 gold apart. Of course, we missed that double kill at the bottom, so Kobe, take us through the replay.
All right, yeah, let's take a look at that one, see what actually happened here. We have Twitch and Thresh going extremely aggressive, and then all of a sudden, Tristana jumps on your face. And it looks like they were not expecting that burst damage. Sona doing her part as well. Love the power chords, able to chase down the second one too. So it looks like Demon Lil was not overhyped at the beginning of this match.
Absolutely amazing play by them, and that's a Twitch with first blood to recount that, right? Like that is impressive that you actually managed to come back against that guy right there. So down here in the bottom lane, right, you see them trying to keep up 69-72, pretty close to minion score, but that double kill Tristana, that is a scary girl.
Yep, so that just changed the entire scenery down there in the bottom lane. Now they actually have the wave pushed to their tower as well. Thing is, you can't freeze with Tristana because she has that explosive shot that you can't turn off, and he's going to eventually push it back.
And we'll see how long he can hold it right here, because here comes a stealth Flappy Bearfish. Actually hits a minion with it, no big deal. Attack speed goes to waste, but whatever. Obituarist is level 6 though. Sona was level 5 during that last fight, so she has Crescendo, but there's no ults for a double buff.
So they have Crescendo, but there's an extra character coming into the scene. A new challenger approaches. Chris is in the bushes, and he's got a level 4 elastic slingshot ready to fire.
Will he go in for it? Actually, the rest of Azure Cats are too far back, so he doesn't find anything here. Nubby PoohBear finds Dragoner. pushes him backwards right there, so nothing for the pony just yet. And now Scuba Chris has actually left the bottom lane.
Yeah, even though they had a pink ward in that bush, he knew there was no ward in that bush, gave up. Some junglers a little impatient, don't want to sit around wasting time, and he actually does get seen and he goes upriver.
Okay, so look at the mid lane again. We still see a small lead here for Big Fat. He's doing well for himself. Scuba Chris holding on to the mid lane a little bit. And actually, those junglers are holding fairly equal, but Dragoner shows up top.
Yeah, he's going to get seen out by that ward as soon as he gets to the bush, but he's so quick on Hecarim that he's still going to get to the champion. Looks like there's no follow-up here from Cruiser, and Innox just trades blows.
Innox seems to be tanky enough indeed, and Dragoner actually recalls back right away. Innox, he kind of wants to check the brush. He's okay, he's gone. All right, we're good. No ponies, no ponies.
That's kind of he gets closer, he's like, oh, don't want to go in all the way, and then he finally face checks the bush. Is it hot? No, it's cold. Nobody's in.
All right, chilly indeed. Now the bottom lane, we see Chris again. He's nearby. He just walks by the wards over and over and says, "No, I'm actually farming."
So in my interview that I did with Gigi, the second thing that he told me when I talked to him about his team was that, yeah, I picked up, Scuba Chris. We did a little bit of a research on him, and he likes to roam around a lot. So they've placed a lot of these wards on the bottom side river, and they've been privy to most of his gank pass here. Hasn't gotten off a successful one yet, but he wants to go now on Sona.
Goes in for Obituarist and Demon Lord. Great Crescendo comes across one, but Demon Lord still really dropped pretty low. The Shenel comes across, keeping him alive. They do kill off Demon Lord, so great pickup there. Unstoppable survives the encounter, 1-0.
So that was a gank and a Shen ultimate. This is going to leave Cruiser the Bruiser free up top. He's trying his best to shove. Malphite, not the strongest tower destroyer in the game, but he's going to get some free time up there.
And we see Shen just trying to run his way back on over. Twitch gets pulled back. He's going to recall out of the bottom lane. Nubby, PoohBear, and Big Fat LP still just squaring off, and you see the minion kills really not moving far apart from each other. It's now 102 to 121. They're staying pretty close.
And Scuba Chris just running laps in this bottom side river here. He's come up to the top again. You can see the power of that elastic slingshot jumping all the way from the river into the Wraith camp, just saving a little time there. Plus you get some adrenaline going there.
Yeah, just flying through the air, man, it's great. But Innox is just throwing ninja stars at minions, picking up gold, picking up health. And the funny thing is, actually, Cruiser's starting to build a lead against Innox here. It's now 93 to 82. This was an advantage for Innox before in the match.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Innox teleport down, so anytime you leave the lane, you're probably going to lose out on a few CS. They were able to get that kill that was very important down bottom, though. You have to try and bounce that. As we saw, if you leave him alone, Demon Low's going to get a double kill.
Well, speaking of Demon Low, he's pushing on this bottom turret down below half health. Bearfish stealths, but Demon Low seems to be wise enough for this one to not stick around for too long, and they'll be safe right there. But let's actually talk about some of the item builds, though. So you've got the Makings of Infinity Edge here for Bearfish, and just a BF Sword so far for Demon Low.
So they probably both are going to want to end up with Infinity Edges because they are both extremely late game AD carries. And the path that they're taking is just a little different here. We have the early upgraded boots for Demon Low as we see the gank coming in right over the trees.
And he's going to go in on this one. Demon Low taking a bunch of punishment down onto Bearfish, but it's Unstoppable is going to fall over. Bearfish popped his ult, but doesn't really want to participate. So the turret and the kill, great gank there by Dragoner, making that one happen. Scuba Chris not able to find anything for himself.
That was perfect timing because now they can go straight over to the dragon. They've got GG calling him down. Plenty of damage, and as the bottom lane recalls, this is going to be Azure Cats taking a free dragon.
That's beautiful for them. Half health, and yeah, no one's going to even contest this one. So Azure Cats really finding themselves some openings here. Look at that, 21,000 to about 19,000 gold. So by 14.5 minutes, they've built a 2K gold lead.
That is the bonus of ganking bottom lane early and often. If you gank down bottom lane, then you always have the opportunity for that secondary prize that will be a dragon after. So they take out the turret, they have the Tribush pink warded, and they're rewarded greatly. Now it's a 2K gold lead for them.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. So we move on to the game, and now some of the global objectives are sort of down. I kind of want to talk to you about who's looking for team fights here, because we've seen games be very methodical, we've seen games be very, very hectic. Who wants to force the pace in this match?
It's going to be Azure Cats when their powerful ultimates are available. And it's going to be DBB over here, Team DoubleBuff. when they are not available here. So Malphite is going to be the one to initiate, and like we said before, when you have a Malphite with teleport, you usually want him to come in before it starts because he's going to be the focal point that you're going to key off for that whole fight. You can't have a team fight start without him and have him come to clean up. Not quite as effective. So you're really going to have to pay attention to his positioning. Scuba Chris also paying attention to his positioning, goes up to gank top, but we've already had cruiser recall.
Okay, so ward control is here for Azure Cats. That pink ward in the tri-brush there for Obituarist helps them clear out more of these wards and get some vision, and he is happily just warding every brush he can. Actually already has a gold per 10 item on top of his already sight stone. This is looking very nice for Azure Cats.
They are definitely comfortable with this lead. They also have the timer on the dragon, and they will have control of the bottom side of the map still because they are not switching out their AD carry and support. They're keeping them down there, so it's not going to give an opening for DoubleBuff to be able to push on that bottom turret, and they continue to pressure down here. I would see even GG roaming through the jungle, excuse me, Big Fat LP roaming through the jungle to continue up the pressure, and the deep wards now come out.
All right, well, every teleport is available right here. You mentioned those deep wards, and they do in fact see pretty much all of DoubleBuff's jungle right here. Everyone is kind of slinking down around that bottom lane. That seems to be the focus of attention right here. Why is everyone all about bottom lane here?
When you get a small foothold on any part of the map, you don't want to let it go. Yeah, they took out this bottom turret, and they don't want to let up the pressure. You immediately want to start warding as deep as you can. We saw there, putting them inside the red jungle here so that you can continue that pressure. Your lane's already winning. You don't have to change anything to continue it that way. The only thing is that we're going to have the added wild card of the Shen ulti coming in on an invisible twitch.
Stealth Shen, they get the slow off on Obituarist. Nothing even hits there. They're going to go for the taunt on Demon Lord. He's going to try to rocket jump away. Well, they have the damage they need. Flash pull in onto Obituarist. The exhaust there. There's the box as well. But here comes the teleport from Malphite. Will it be enough? They trade 1 for 1 so far. Will Demon Lord take enough damage? Unstoppable getting dropped lower and lower. And look at that. Only Innox really here. They get another kill pick up there onto Unstoppable as Bearfish falls over. And here comes Zed as well. Innox running away. There's Dragonair as well. Nubby PoohBear is around with low mana. Innox still getting chased down. Taunts across everyone, including Demon Lord, but Demon Lord still will just not want to go down. He's getting lower, but still survives. Scuba Chris with the Shen ult on is going to get popped into 4 little bloblets. A beautiful fight there for Azure Cats, kind of 3.5 for 1.
Yeah, great bait right there by Demon Lol. Obituarist does end up going down, but he kind of deserves to die for that crescendo.
That's fair. All right, so no major pickups for DoubleBuff, unfortunately for them. The jungle now in control of Azure Cats, and the gold lead was 2,000. Now it's 3.5. It's getting better and better for them.
Yeah, and you can see the difference in the kills for Malphite. Cruiser's been able to pick up some of those last hits, and so he's got spell penetration boots and a Negatron cloak on top of his Sunfire cape, whereas Shen just sitting on those level 1s.
That is going to be nice for Cruiser overall. PoohBear back against his turret one more time, trying to spam down these minions. They're just equal. Like I don't know. I want to point out lane differences, but nothing's actually happening there. They're just farming very, very well. First plays on their teams respectively, but they're starting to get some items coming out here. So Big Fat LP has got that Ruin King. He's got a Brutalizer. Maybe PoohBear got a bunch of unfinished stuff.
There's a pretty big discussion about among Zed players about which is the better route to go when you're just looking for that damage. Do you go for the double item damage of getting a Blade of the Ruin King and using that after you put your Death Mark on because it does take into account item damage and you'll get double effectiveness, or do you just go straight with the Bloodthirster and use that extra auto attack damage to have more in the long run here? A lot of people, I'd say, you know, it's about 70% to 30% lean towards the Bloodthirster, but you also get that utility if you do go Blade of the Ruin King with the added slow and getting a lot of life back with that burst of the active.
Alrighty, so with this bottom lane here, we're seeing them kind of match up, and it's looking better and better for Azure Cats. They're each up a level. They both got Infinity Edge, so that's pretty much a wash right here, but in general, you're seeing that DoubleBuff are actually playing scared in this matchup here.
Yeah, because they've been losing all game long, and Demon Low will not leave this bottom lane. He's going to continue asserting his dominance over Flappy Bearfish down here. Anytime that they have had Shen come in, Malphite's been there to answer too, so they'll happily keep on this exact same setup. They're winning this way, so there's no need to switch it up and change the lanes.
Well, Dragon is waiting around in the wings, but on top of a ward he's been for the last minute or so. But Dragon is coming up here. Here comes the next fight. Teleport is not available for Cruiser, but it is for Innox.
And we have Cruiser down here already. So, perfect right there. They don't need him to teleport in. This could be a 5 vs 5. They just burn down that Dragon. It's going to be way too late for DoubleBuff.
Oh, he finds 2 and they jump right on in. Nubby PoohBear is going to explode immediately. Demon Low gets the credit on that one, and here comes the explosion of damage. Demon Low jumps across the wall. Crescendo hits 3 unstoppable. Very, very low in health. He's going to fall over. Can Bearfish find the damage? He's forced to flash out right there, and Cruiser is still alive while burning down as well. Can Chris do enough damage? He gets the shutdown. They've traded here, but Innox falls over. That makes it a 3 for 2 in Azure Cat's favor on top of that earlier Dragon.
You can see the power of those long-range initiates back to back. Cruiser and Dragon are both using those to great effect. Nubby PoohBear never had a chance.
Wow, just a great fight by them. So this also will give them a turret down in the mid lane. They're going to get number 2 off of this one, and you can see them controlling more and more and more of the game. Now 5,000 gold. This is looking so good for Azure Cats.
Remember that before that whole fight started too, they got the Dragon. So that is a huge win for them. Stand United is down, and Teleport's going to be back up before Stand United gets back up, and they still have the turret advantage. So that advantage that they had over the red side jungle of DoubleBuff just got a whole lot stronger.
Well, this is going to be a rough situation then. DoubleBuff can't control their own buff. It's going to be hard. Scuba Chris is looking to do a little bit of counter jungling here, taking away some of the Wraiths. That don't mean too much overall, but Azure Cats are like, hey guys, we're going to keep pushing down mid lane. Thank you very much. Chris doesn't even get to finish off the Wraith camp. Has to run back his side of the map.
Cruiser up here top. He's just immovable right now. We've had Innox just throwing daggers at his head, stabbing him with his sword, burning him with his Sunfire Cape, and Cruiser doesn't even feel a thing.
They're looking for a bit of an invade right here. Stealth from Bearfish, but they don't quite find Obituarist or Demon Lull. They've just gone back to the lanes, just standard right here, and Twitch is being left to farm here against this 1 vs 2 for now.
Both of these AD carries are still equal, like you keep on pointing out here. They're both going to be extremely late game powerhouses, so the damage is going to be there on both sides no matter what. It's going to be how they use the CC, because they've got a Shen and they've got a what?
They've got a Shen who's getting jumped on a little bit, but he's going to get himself out.
Yeah, they're fine up there. Those two tanky tanks are just going to beat each other senseless, and we might have Hecarim trying to join the party, but that's going to be a lot of damage that they need to actually burn down Innox.
Well, they're looking for it right now. Cruiser moving up forward. The turret down pretty low on health. Dragon starts swinging right now. Of course, Cruiser will automatically pull turret aggro with the Sunfire Cape. Dragon takes some damage. Innox with a good taunt right there. Looks like he will keep the turret alive, at least for now, so good defense.
Yeah, that was a ill-fated gank or tower push or whatever you want to call that, because there was not going to be much that was going to be able to be accomplished up there, and they decide that they're going to back right off.
Okay, so I actually want to take a look at individual sort of contributions here, because we can look at minion kills, we can look at champion kills. Let's take a look at gold per person here, because you're going to have individual all-stars with a heck of a lot. 2 guys in Azure Cats are over 8,000 gold, only 1 here for DoubleBuff.
You know, gold does pay the bills here, and you see that manifest itself in the items. GG has stacked on top of his Rushed Blade of the Ruin King that Black Cleaver. So not only is he going to have, you know, the great assassination potential, but he's going to be shredding armor, and that is going to make Demon Lull even more scary, because he is a very fed Tristana. He's been doing well all game long, and he's got that combo of the Phantom Dancer and Infinity Edge.
That is going to be brutal for them, so we'll see how these team fights end up panning out. So far, only the 1 death on Demon Lull so far in this game, so gotta say he has been performing very excellently. We talked about him in the pregame, and he's living up to the hype.
Yeah,
I think we
usually
can say that.
You don't get quite as scared of the Trish until she adds a Last Whisper on top of that, but with the reduction from Big Fat LP's Black Cleaver, then he doesn't really have to worry about that, and he'll even be able to shred tanks here, because the AoE damage that Big Fat LP puts out with his Shadow Slash is going to be hitting most of the team and lowering them.
I have a question for you. So you talk about being able to kill tanks, but I want to talk about how disruptive they can be against the AD carry. Because on one side, you got Hecarim, oh my gosh, they're just going to go in on Innox right here, actually. Big Fat LP looking for the damage. Ignite is on. The Deathmark doing so much damage. Big Fat LP finds that, but is forced to flash away. Now, can they answer back? There comes a Venom cast. A Lantern comes across as well. She could have picked that one up, but at the same time, Scuba Chris gets caught out. So yes, Bearfish does kill Big Fat LP, but Demon Lol does get the kill on a Scuba Chris, so a 2-for-1 even still.
Big Fat making plays. That's the Black Cleaver in action, and the slow from Blade of the Ruin King shows why he went with that choice instead of the Bloodthirster right there. He takes out the tank we were just talking about melting. Shows he can just do it himself. He doesn't need Demon Lol.
Well, that is going to be strong. So we talked about tanks getting melted, but what can the tanks do to the AD carries here? Because one side you've got, oh never mind, you got Malphite coming in, and that's what tanks do to AD carries. FlappyBearFish is dead right away. Question answered. Thank you very much, Azure Cats. 2 for nothing and a turret.
That's exactly what they can do. Unstoppable force them. And then we're going to have Demon Lol jumping on top of him for the kill there. The Onslaught of Shadows is going to be down for Dragunner as well, so they won't have that hard initiate. They don't need it.
They do pick that one up now. Demon Lol's in the middle of the enemy team, knocks back Innox away from his turret. Innox will go down. Nubby PoohBear looks for some damage. Can he get enough? Ult comes across on a Dragunner, but does not get enough damage. Forced to Zonius, but he is very alone right now. Can he get the damage? He does find one, but he's going to fall back over. Obituarist securing the kill, 3-2 and 11 on Sona.
Well, he's going to have a lot of riding ahead of him because there were 5 deaths in that fight for the DoubleBuff team, and they're going to get a free inhibitor off of that. Oh, no, they're going to have to run away because the AD and support have spawned. You have to watch out for the invisible switch.
And it's going to be scary. So this reminds me a lot of games where a team is getting dunked for a while, but they have that late game AD carry. Right, and of course both teams have an late game AD carry. You got Tristan on one side, you got Twitch on the other. But does Twitch have what it takes in this game to hyper carry out of this really bad situation?
We just heard Dyrus when we were talking to him in the last couple games about the power of a late game Twitch because he has the potential to hit an entire team. It's that AoE. He talked about it being a late game sort of misfortune because, you know, Spray and Pray, you can shoot through the entire team there. He definitely does have the potential. The only thing is he is nowhere near as safe as Demon Lol. Compare these two AD carries. Demon Lol, he's on Tristana. Not only does he have the built-in escape of his rocket jump, but he has his own disengage with his Buster Shot. Plus, he's packing Crucible the Bruiser on top Unstoppable Force and Drag Under Assault of the Shadows. And those are going to be two things that FlappyBearFish does not really have an answer for. He's got a Shen Shield that's only going to save him for so long. It's not going to negate any sort of CC here, so it's a much more dire situation here for FlappyBearFish, and he's going to have some masterful positioning and some very quick flashes if he wants to survive these fights.
We'll see if he can do that, because right now Azure Cats are starting to turn the screws. They're looking to press in on the jungle. DoubleBuff are actually visible right here. They're going to get jumped on in a 3v2. Innox gets jumped on. He has to try to dash away. Here comes the teleport as well from Malphite. This could be bad. Unstoppable against Unstoppable Force. He doesn't even try it, actually. Innox is going to get jumped. Here comes Scuba Chris, but that's going to make it a 1 versus 4. He dies for free. I'm not sure if I agree with that one. But Azure Cats, they're like, great, let's take Baron.
Yeah, a little bit of a crazy move there from Scuba Chris, who wanted to dive right in. And it looks like that's going to actually cost them Baron, because not only are both tanks down, but that's the Smite gone as well. So there's not even that hope of a Smite steal here for DoubleBuff.
And there is that big fat LP split push as well. You mentioned that, how Zed is so good at this.
He's being surrounded right now.
Let's see if they can do it. No stun picked up. He's actually going to keep dodging away. No slows there either. Do they have the damage? Actually, they're going to back off. Spray and Pray was used to no effect as well. So it's another ultimate down as Azure Cats are starting to push in on the base.
That's actually pretty big because that's going to be 100 seconds here before they're able to answer back. And that was the main thing that DoubleBuff are counting on in this late game to sort of swing the tides of any sort of team fight. They're not going to want to fight at all right now. They're just going to have to turtle inside their base.
We'll see if they can turtle indeed. There's a last Whisper picked up there, so there's finally a third item. He's about half item, I would say about a half an item behind Demon Lol, who's sitting on 1,800 gold. So there's a bit of an FC. Even if you're not seeing it yet manifested in the game, it's definitely there in the background. And Demon Lol's actually going to back right now to pick up something new.
Let's see, he'll probably get some lifesteal after this. Because he's got plenty of damage right now and so much armor shred. Not only does he have that last Whisper, but he also has the Black Cleaver we were talking about from GG. Decides to go more defensive, picking up that Negatron cloak because there's still the potential for Nubby PoohBear to catch him out of position and just one-shot him with that Syndra ultimate, the unleashed power.
We'll see if he can be powerful enough to kill him down. Azure Cats are moving their way down the map once again. Red buff's being grabbed real quick by Demon Lol. But after that, they've got Baron buff. They've got an open inhibitor. They've got minions on the correct side of the map for them. Is it just mid lane, kill the inhib, go from there, or where are Azure Cats going?
It's the obvious choice here. There's no secrets coming out. There's no high-level strategy. They've got Baron buff. There's an exposed inhibitor. That thing is for free. You can take that, and then you can choose to continue to have GG split push bottom, or you could even group up S5 right now. They've got so many options. It looks like they're going to go with the greedy option of farm all lanes at once until they get a little bit closer to the base, then collapse over and get that inhibitor.
Well, looking pretty good for them overall. You're seeing the minions fall over. They're happily just, pushing all these lanes in. You actually just had a little bit of pressure in the mid lane there. They're actually just dancing on the steps of the base right here as they pull Demon Lola in to push the inhibitor down. Scuba Chris maybe looking for something, nope, does not go for the dash in. They will just take the free inhibitor. You said it wasn't very advanced, and you're right. They just give that one up, knowing they can't fight against the Baron buff. And now they look for the top lane. They're just going to backdoor it.
Pretty easy, too, because they've got a very, very tanky Malphite here. 245 armor.
Oh my gosh, Scuba Chris taking a bunch of damage. Shen shows up as well. Demon Lola is safe here. Splits into the blobs, and here comes the team fight. Oh, so much crowd control, but Bearfish is alive for now. Now, can he do the damage? This is what it's about. He's been exhausted, flashes backwards, and the kills are really coming in here. Big Fat LP just obliterates Twitch, and everyone is dead. DBB have no one left in the map. This is going to be a good game. Azure Cats look to take game 1.
Very impressed with Demon Lola's Tristana. He's done such a good job of kiting, and he makes it look easy. I mean, he does have an amazing front line here. Cruiser and Dragunner, they don't hesitate to sacrifice their lives for the greater good.
And there we go. The greater good is going to be a game 1 win right here as they just break down the turrets, break down the Nexus. Once again, Azure Cats going up 1-0 against Team DoubleBuff, and they are a single game away from a best of 5 against Counterlogic Gaming.
I know they are looking forward to that one, but you can't get ahead of yourselves. Yes, you just beat them 9-23. Pretty convincing. You still have to finish this one off, though. You have to focus. You can't abandon your strategy that you brought coming into this because DoubleBuff are going to make those adjustments, and they're going to come back fighting for their lives in this second game.
Yeah, and speaking of DoubleBuff adjustments, you're seeing them on your screen right there with the blue background, very beautiful, soothing tones. And they were discussing. I actually was watching very intently their facial expressions, and they were talking, they were calm. Some of them were actually smiling despite going down 0-1, and they're like, hey, here's what we need to do next game. Here's the changes we make.
Exactly what went wrong. They know exactly what went wrong, and they were already coming up with solutions. They didn't waste any time at all. Even as they were still losing, the base was crumbling. They were talking about what do we change next, because they know time is an issue here. We're gonna go right into that second game, and there's not gonna be a lot of time for discussion.
Okay, well, Kobe, we have a replay of one of those few team fights that led to an ace. Why don't you walk us through it?
All right, let's take a look here. This is the Unstoppable Force. You were just asking about what can tanks do to AD carries. What AD carry? Flappy Bearfish is just murdered right there. They use both of those long-range initiates. That's such a great combo, and that is one of the reasons why Malphite and Hecarim are so popular in China right now. They just love these two champions, and it's for that very reason right there. Late game AD carry, showing his worth right here. Demon Lola on Tristana, able to continually put out damage and kite everyone on DoubleBuff.
And you can see just, easy kills picked up. He kills Cruiser at the end, but even still, just a wonderful fight.
It was a massacre here.
Yeah, that was pretty harsh.
The Obituarist going to work overtime there.
So Azure Cats pulling up a great Game 1 victory, of course. It's a full best of 3, so we do have more coming up for you guys. The second battle between these two teams is next. Plus, TSM's Terror of the Top Lane, Dyrus, will join us to break down all the action. The 2013 Summer Promotion Tournament will respawn right after Zillion presses R.